Shalom Aleichem. Welcome to the Breslov Parshat. This week is Emor. Emor is the longest Parsha in a book of Vayikra. It's got many laws also. Starts off with the laws of the purity of the Kohanim, what they're allowed to defile themselves, when they're not allowed to defile themselves. It talks about if they become pure or impure, what they're allowed to eat, the priestly gift of Teruma. Talks about animals, whether they are whole or blemished, whether they're acceptable to the altar. It talks about the holidays. Starts with Shabbos, Pesach, Sfira, Shavuos, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot. And then at the end of the Parsha, the last chapter speaks about the gift offering of the menorah, lighting the candelabra in the temple. Then it speaks about the shewbread, which was offered once a week in the temple. And then it tells a story of somebody who went and cursed God. And then there are some other laws about damages and whatnot. Parsha has a lot of different things. Let us focus on the holiday that just passed, Pesach, on the Sfira, counting of the Omer. Here's where the law is written about. And then Shavuot. Okay? Pesach is when we had the Exodus. Right? I have a question for you. Right? The Torah tells us that when the Jews left Egypt, they were each given a lot of gold and silver from the Egyptians. They were inundated with it. And then a week later, when they came to the splitting of the sea, they were given even greater wealth, because all the Egyptians adorned their horses and their chariots with even more gold, silver, and precious stones. So the Jews collected it all when it floated up onto the beach on the side where they were. So now they have untold wealth, right? They left Egypt with gold and silver, and they collected even more at Yam Suf, at the splitting of the sea. And where did they go afterwards? To the desert. Here's the cute part. They went to the desert. They were there 40 years. 40 years in the desert. They didn't build any mansions. They slept in tents, because they had to camp and decamp, camp and decamp, camp and decamp. 40 years of this. There was no McDonald's. There were no shopping centers. There was nothing. No Wendy's, no A&P stores, whatever, if anyone remembers them. There was nothing in the desert. What did they do with all that money? I ask. They had 10 million, 50 million, 100 million, 500 million, who knows how much money they had. Gold and silver and precious stones. What good did it do them? Ask yourself, what good did it do them? Well, Rabbi Nachman explains that if you don't have, it's a Mishnah in Pirkei Avos, im ein kemach, ein Torah. If there is no food, livelihood, you can't have Torah. Why not? Because if you don't eat, how are you going to survive? So you have to have a livelihood. You have to have money. Rabbi Nachman says there are deep insights in Torah, such very great realms of Torah that you need all the money in the world in order to be able to accept and understand those level of Torah. Well, we can understand now why people pursue wealth. They want to have the deep understanding of Torah. But for all practical purposes, when they left Egypt, they had not yet received the Torah. They were set out about to receive the Torah. They needed a lot of money. They needed to have that wealth, that security, that blanket of a lot of money in order to be able to receive the Torah. And that's why in the books of prophets, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, there are prophecies of the Jews becoming very, very wealthy when Mashiach comes. And why would we need that? What? Take care of your bills and finish. What's the big deal? No. The Torah is telling us that we're going to have such great perceptions of Torah revealed to us that we're going to need all that wealth for that. So then the Torah goes on and says, well, you left Egypt, you had the Exodus, now count. Not count your money, count your blessings. Count every single day, because every single day of your life counts. Don't say, I got up this morning on the wrong side of the bed, so I'm going to let it go. No, that's not a way to live. Every day counts. Say to yourself, I'm going to accomplish something good today. Something good. I'm going to do a good deed. I'm going to study Torah. I'm going to pray to Hashem. I'm going to help somebody else, either by giving charity or physically helping them. There's so many ways to do good, right? Even to change a diaper of a child is a nice deed. It's a gemilas chesed. It's a nice deed. Honestly, I can't say I did that good deed very many times in my life. But at the same time, I did it a few times. It's a good deed. Help somebody else. Think of somebody else. Pray for the hostages. Pray for the welfare of our communities. Pray for the welfare of the people that are dear to us, our family, our friends, our neighbors, communities. We need to do that. That's a good deed. Even if I have nothing to do with them, or very little to do with them. But if I do something good, like praying for them, then I've done a good deed for today. And of course, at the end of the Sphira, there's Shavuot. Shavuot means that the weeks went by, and now we're ready to receive the Torah. We were ready to receive the Torah, which the Alshich says, explains, is God's wisdom. That's what the Alshich says in the beginning, right? The Torah is God's wisdom. And you know what? He gave it over to us. If we were to just look into the Torah, we would have godly wisdom. We would have a sense of morality, of what's right, of what's wrong, and know how to choose wisely. And that's the value of receiving and accepting the Torah. May Hashem help that we manage to merit, to count our days, to have the extreme wealth so that we don't have to worry about livelihood, that we should count our days and make sure they count. And with that, we'll be able to receive a godly wisdom. Amen. Good evening, and I hope you enjoyed the shir. And if you like to share, please pass it on to others and let them all get interested in Breslov and Rabbi Nachman's teachings. We look forward to hearing from a lot more of you. All the best.